Hi, welcome back. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about, not a little bit, I think it's going to be a long video. I wanted to talk about the books that I read this year. I thought the list would get bigger, so I kept delaying making this video, but turns out it's almost near the end of the year, and I don't think I'm going to be reading anymore, except I think this one, which I hope to finish. I came upon a lighthouse by Shantanu Naidu. I actually had a lot of misinformation about the relationship between Ratan Tata and Shantanu Naidu, and internet speculations did not help. But yeah, this book sheds a lot of light on their personal relationships, and yeah, I hope to finish this before the year ends. Anyway, apart from this book, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the other books that I have read. One thing I've noticed a common theme between everything that I read and turn out to like. Oh, I think I forgot one. Anyway, I turn out to. One common theme I notice that I like amongst all the books that I do read and like is they are primarily female lead centric. I don't look for female centric books, but maybe subconsciously I do. So this is part of this stack. I think it's a healthy stack. It's missing a couple books, partly because they are in other places, and partly because one I forgot to bring from the other room. So the ones missing are, I think, I want to say, Strange Pictures. It's like a Japanese crime thriller, which is sort of predictable but still very gore and very scary as shit. Yeah, and the one that's missing is. Give me a minute, I'll just bring it. So, my favorite book amongst all of these is probably this one, which is The Startup Wife by Tahmima Anam, who I guess is a Bangladeshi author, I'm not sure. This book is about this brilliant woman called Asha, who is a Bangladeshi immigrant to the USA, and she's pursuing a PhD in, I think, machine learning or artificial intelligence at MIT. And she drops out of a PhD program once she meets this incredible person called, shit, I forgot. I think Cyrus. Once she met this incredible person called Cyrus, and she was totally fascinated by him, and she wanted to code his brain. I think it was a little difficult for the main character to see because she was in the bubble, but Cyrus struck to me as someone who is very much like a cult leader. And this book essentially details what happens when you lose out on your individuality and your personality in serving someone else, and why that is not good in the long run, and how it can backfire very badly. So yeah, this is one of my favorite books, and this is definitely a must read to someone who is interested maybe in like the hustle culture and sort of like a dystopian future. Second book that I really like is I can't actually choose because all of these are so good. So I think I would, if I had to choose, I would choose this one, The People on Platform 5 by Claire Pooley. The description, like the first couple of lines, is nobody speaks to strangers on the train. What would happen if they did? So this is actually the line that sold this book to me, because there were many times, like I've heard from my dad when my dad used to like solo travel across India. He used to talk about all these incredible people that he met, and I always used to think that why am I not meeting these incredible people? But this is about not people that you see once and forget. This is about a daily commute and the people who you see on the daily. I think the one thing that's a little probable about this scenario is seeing the same people in the same booth at the same time every day. But this basically details, I think, 4 or 5 people in different stages of life, and how they choose to, and how they form like a very unlikely bond, and they move on. Move on through like various tragedies and various problems at various stages in their lives. So the main character is a woman in her is a lesbian woman. Is a lesbian woman who is like incredible, who used to be very very cool when she was younger, but as she grew older, she is being passed on for good opportunities at work. Her wife is suffering. Never mind, that would give away the book. But the thing is, it's a very nice book, and it's a very heartwarming read. Third is, third. Hey. Third is A Man Called Ove by Frederick Backman. I read another book by this person. Shit, I forgot what it was called. I think it was Normal People. Or I might be confusing it with the Netflix series. Anyway, whatever books he wrote, just let me take a look. Okay, I forgot the one. But this book is about a man, a very old man, and how he gets a fresh start at life when a very lively family moves across the street from him, and how that gives him a fresh chance at living life again. And this is also like about very unlikely, this is about unlikely friendships basically. It's about this cat that he despises and still finds like a very uncanny connection with him. And this is, I figured that like most of my books are sort of like on the inspiring side, although my mother highly disagrees and she thinks that they're more on the murderous side. But the books that I have,
but the books that I have done this is, I mean, yeah, it was like the life of a person. Whatever.
Yeah, so this is a translation from Swedish to English, and this is also a very heartwarming read. I don't want to go too much into depth with The Summer of June. I basically got this book because this is about a girl who shaves off her head, and I feel that it's very similar to what I usually do when inconvenience strikes. My hair and my eyebrows are the first thing to get affected when anything happens in my life, good or bad. So this is about a young girl, 13, 14, who is suffering from anxiety, like severe anxiety, and she hopes to turn over a new leaf, and she decides that over the summer vacation she would shave her hair, and that would give her more confidence once she's not feeling as self-conscious. It doesn't pan out the way that she hoped, and I can tell that from personal experience because I also got almost I got a buzz cut when I was 17. In during COVID, I almost got a buzz cut, but yeah. So this is sort of like a kids book. They also have these book club exercises towards the end of the book, but it is also sort of inspiring but a little childish. Next is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I only got this book because I liked the illustration. It's about a story about the very worst and very best that humans are capable of. Eleanor Oliphant leads a simple life. She follows a very simple routine. and nothing is missing from her carefully timetabled existence, except sometimes everything. While this seems like a very, very, very generic description, I I'm very glad that I took a chance on this book because it's about a woman who grew up with a psychopathic mother who burnt down their house when they were growing up, and then she grew up in like state assisted um, homes. I don't know how it works in the US, UK, sorry, but it's she got some sort of like state help to get a job, then get a building, get an apartment. And this is also like she finds a cat, and how that somewhat changes her life around. Uh, Cats seem to have a lot of impression in the books I read. But yeah. Then another unlikely favorite is The Circle of Life by Sudha Murthy. It's very simple. It's written in very simple English, which I guess is the USP. You can see the burn marks. I put a candle over here. So this is a very simply written but sort of wholesome book, and it shows how people change over the lifetime. Someone who started out in this book as someone highly principled and who could commit no wrong, and who would, despite coming from a very rich family, he would always try to help the poor, help the needy, and follow like Gandhi principles and stuff. But he spent his whole life, like a huge portion of his life, in serving people in very downtrodden communities and in villages. But when the time came, the same people did not repay his kindness, and how he flipped over from being a very generous and kind hearted person to being a ruthless politician who would take favors everywhere and everything. And this is follows like lives of 4 5 friends who graduated from IISc Bangalore, and how their lives pan out in a span of 20 or more years. This is very simply written, but I feel this was the one that surprised the most. Even though this has an insane twist, this was the one I liked more than this. Next is the Rosie Project and Chickamma Tours Private Limited. I did not like this book. I genuinely did not like this book. I only got this because it was about a female detective, but it was highly anticlimactic. And although I did enjoy the descriptions of the narrator, or like the main character, I felt that this book was not worth the build up that it had. It had so much potential because it's about a murder at a bookstore, and they could have done so much with it. There was like one part where the narrator goes and spends the night at this abandoned bookstore, and they could have done so much more with it, but they did not. Anyway, I think they are hoping to make it a series, and I hope the next one is better than this. That brings me to another okay book, which is the Rosie Project. It's about this autistic scientist who finds unlikely connection with a very bold woman. It's a just simple rom-com read. This book I saved for the last because I hated it. I hated it from the bottom of my heart. It's not because the book was bad, but because it pointed out the misogyny that women face in everyday life so brutally, like with every interaction that they had. And this was a white country. This is like the USA. So, and this was not even that far back. So it made me really mad to be reading this book. She's pursuing a PhD, the only two women pursuing the PhD in a very high class institute, but the troubles that they go through. It's about only one woman. The other woman, it starts off like the other woman is jealous of this character, because the main character is very beautiful, she's getting all the attention, and the other woman is jealous. But soon it, like in some time after a terrible tragedy that was completely uncalled for, by the way, they did not need to have put this tragedy there. After that tragedy strikes this main character's life, she again encounters this other woman, and they somewhat bond over a very horrific shared experience. And I couldn't finish this book. I went through only half of it before I was like howling and crying. And someday I will find the strength to finish this book, but I don't see that happening in the near future. I think they were making, I don't know if they are making a series, Apple series, using I forget a lot of things, but there was an irony in the choice of actors as well, because the actor that they chose to play the main character, I think she was also chosen to play some superhero in either Marvel or some DC film, and people tore her apart because she did not fit, or her mannerisms during the publications press or whatever, that did not fit the presumptions that they had in their mind. And in some sort of way it still reinforced the idea that even today, as we are trying to be like as inclusive and whatnot, it's something that's very deeply rooted in us, and it's just does not change, and something we have to try to keep on changing. But yeah, I will finish this book someday. I do not want to end this video on like a sad note, but that's reality. I'll see you soon. Bye.